Hello everyone, my name is Ralph Martin and welcome to the Brass Dragons podcast. Today's talk is going to be about here and now. I kind of touched on this last week, but I thought I'd do a specific podcast talking specifically on that. Before I get started on that, um, I want to say kudos to all the nurses and the doctors and the frontline people, the firemen, police, all the people that are on the front line that are just trying to do their job the best they can every day. People that are working on, trying to find a cure for the virus. Uh, I want to give a shout out to them that, they're amazing people that are working very hard to try to get control of this thing and keep everybody safe as much as possible. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people in the world that are very selfish and self-centered, egocentric, narcissistic, and they're only concerned about what's in it for them. Entitlement is the word we use nowadays. And that's just a shame, because they would find that if they got out of that shell of all about me and it's all about servicing other people, if they find there's a lot more satisfaction in life when you serve somebody. You get a lot more than you give. They don't get that because they want. And we've all run into those kind of people, and I just feel bad for them because they just don't get it. Maybe someday they'll have a realization. I pray that they do. I might have been a bit of that myself as a young man, as a young person growing up. But I learned through School of Hard Knocks to change my way and change my views and change my thoughts. So I hope they do too. I hope they don't have to go through the rough times that I did to come to that realization. But anyways, I also want to mention I've got a very special podcast coming up in a week or two that I'm going to talk about some prayer. And I'll mention that. It's something I'm working on, and it's going to be very special, at least to me. But today's talk is about here and now. By the way, before I get into that, if you like my channel, please subscribe, hit the notice button, and you'll be notified when all these videos go up. If you like my music, leave a comment. If you like what I talk about, leave a comment. Another thing in the very near future, I'm going to start talking more about music and some of the things that I've gone through musically. I'll talk about my years at Berklee College of Music. Talk about a bit about some of the bands that I've been in and some of the music I've written, some of the music I've played, some of the guys I've played with. I hope at some point in the near future to start doing with my partner to do interviews of local musicians and helping them achieve more prominence in their circle. New England can be very hard. It's very tough to get out of. To make a living in. A lot of people, if they want to make it musically, and they got that big desire, they unfortunately have to go somewhere else. You can try Boston, but usually it's New York or LA, Nashville, sometimes New Orleans. They can only leave the area in order to make it, and that's a shame because there's a lot of very talented people that I've run into in this area, and they don't get near enough recognition. And so we're going to be developing a channel to do that. So when it comes to fruition of if you know all about it. But today's talk is about here and now. I read this book a while ago, and I don't have the book on me. Uh, it was, and I don't know the author, but it's called Here and Now, Living in the Presence. And I kind of touched on that last week, but I'm going to mention it more today. That this is kind of a mantra that I use for myself when I start thinking about either the past too much, which is an issue that I have. I, you know, things about my childhood or things that memories keep popping up. And if they start really interfering, I try to refocus on here and now, right now, the presence, here and now. And I use that, and I'll keep saying it to myself until I get refocused on being in my current situation instead of back then, or if I'm worrying about the future too much, too. Because the future hasn't happened yet. Plan, yes, but don't participate in it. Don't get caught up in it. It's not everything. Because then you lose the presence. You lose the here and now. Here and now is the only thing you've got. You can only make choices now. If you want to change something, you have to start with that very first step. That line from Lao Tzu, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. Worry about the first step. Just do today. If you have an addiction, well, just worry about today, right now. What can you do right now to not do what you normally do? Mine was anger. I was angry all the freaking time. When I was a teenager, it was rough for me. Emotionally, mentally. Went through some real rough stuff. And I'm not really going to talk about it specifically because the people that put me through all that, they didn't know any better. We were all struggling, we were all hurting. So, it's past. But just enough to say I had, a tough time. But all I've got is here and now. So I had to make a choice at some point to say, I don't want to do this anymore. What can I do to stop that? First, you got to change your thoughts. Change your mind. Say, I don't want to think like that anymore. I don't want to be angry. And if you look deep in your heart, and I mean really soul search down to that dark corner down there, hopefully you'll find that little speck of love that comes from God. That's all He is love. And focus on that and let that grow and let it fill your heart and your entire being. You're going to find things are going to change. My life constantly changes for the better when I focus on that. And that's what I want for other people, is for their lives to be better. No matter what they may need to be better, whether it's a job, family circumstances, health, whatever. I went to a doctor about my shoulder because it was hurting. They said, "Oh, you got a touch of bursitis, but let's do a CAT scan." Okay, well, I go in and I get a CAT scan on it. No big deal, right? An X-ray, actually, I think. Then they said, "Oh, let's do a CAT scan on it." So we did a CAT scan. So in the middle of the CAT scan, they said, "Oh no, your shoulder's doing fine. Yeah, you got a little touch of bursitis, but therapy will help that, physical therapy." And so I was doing that. But they said, well, we found a little spot on your lung. Okay. So we want to do a chest CAT scan. Okay. So we go do that. And you say, oh, they're fine. Because I trusted the love that was in my heart, that I feel for everything around me, the gratitude that I have for all these things that are around me that, in a sense, are meaningless. I cherish them, but they're not the overriding factor in my life. The Lord is giving me a very comfortable home and a comfortable life. And I thank Him for that every single day. He's giving me an abundance more than what I deserve. And I thank Him for that. People have been very, very good to me. My family has been very good to me. And now, more than ever, I'm trying to be even better to them. To be a better person to them. So anyways, back to the story. So they found a spot on my lung, took a CAT scan. Now it's just capillary. But we found something on your liver. Great. We'll go for another CAT scan. This time they have to put in some stuff. We call it contrast. Okay, so they do that. And tests come back. Oh, your liver's fine. But I don't get exasperated about it because at least they were checking on it and they found the results that no, nothing to worry about. Might have a few little gallstones, but at your age it's expected. If they move, that's when we'll worry about it. Right now they're fine. I trust in the love that the Lord has for us. I trust in the here and now. Because right now, this is the only moment I have. Right now, it's just you and I watching each other. Me giving you my life experience. Again, I'm not a preacher. I don't know everything. I don't have shelves and shelves of self-help books. I've read a lot. But try to focus on the here and now. No matter what your situation. No matter how good or bad. Happiness is not always in the future, and happiness is not in the past. Happiness is here and now. You have to change something, you can only do it here and now. If you're in a job that you simply cannot stand, I've been there. So you have to make a choice now. What's your choice going to be? Are you going to stay and make it better somehow? Or are you going to make that choice to leave? Find something better. I was stuck in a job for, I should say stuck. I was in a job for 17 years. And I liked what I did. I liked the people I was working with. I liked the customers that I met. I was on site at 2 places. And I really liked doing what I was doing. Unfortunately, the job didn't keep up with cost of living. I was making the same money at 17 years that I was making in year 1. And with all the costs of living increases, everything being more expensive, health insurance and food and gas and all the quote-unquote essentials that come along with life, I was kind of making less money 17 years when I was in. So when they laid me off, it was a surprise, but I wasn't devastated. Because God had brought me to that place, had taken care of me for 17 years. And that old adage, when one door closes, another one opens, man, that is so true. But you have to wait on timing, okay? Um, when they laid me off, for whatever reason that they did, I'm not going to get into why they did. I can speculate. They don't really tell you why. Workforce reduction. Okay, that's just a nice corporate catchphrase. But anyways, so I filed for unemployment. I was unemployed for 4 months, and in those 4 months, I made that choice. I'm gonna have to go find work again because I don't want to stay on unemployment because I've only ran for 26 weeks in New England. So I prayed on it. I checked out a lot of places. I sent out a lot of resumes, talked to a lot of people, and then eventually I got hired again at my age, over 60. A lot of places I ran into wouldn't hire me because of my age. There's one job in town that I really, really wanted. I thought it would be a great job for me. Oh, it's right in town. I'm only 10 minutes away. You know, I've got all this experience, and they wanted younger people. Go figure. They didn't want the experience, they just want young. Well, they were all younger than I would have been, practically the grandpa of the team. So I can understand their reasoning, but that's still discrimination. If I could have filled the job. But be that as it may, that was their decision and their loss. Because I got hired by a great guy who understood the value of experience and realized that, hey, here's a guy who's got lots of experience. I don't have to do a lot to train him. He's going to hit the ground almost running because he knows how to work. He's going to get the job done. And I did. Within 2 weeks, I was off and running. Bang! Doing things. Taking care of business. And he was a great guy. But I really feel that it was staying within God's love in the moment, in this very, very moment, here and now, that led me to that. When I was in the interview, I wasn't thinking about anything else, not the future with them, not my past. I was focused on the here and now, right now. I was focusing on him and the other couple of guys that were there, and I asked them all questions. And it showed that I was interested, I was engaged, and that's what I want you to be, is engaged in every moment. It's not easy. Folks, I'm not saying that this is easy. It's hard. You have to keep reminding yourself. And I do, all the time. And I lose it, and I get it back, and I lose it, and I get it back. We all focus, thoughts come, and then I try not to get attached to them, and let them go, and say, here and now. So please, do yourselves a favor, if you can. Focus on here and now, and make the changes that you need to make. Or at the very least, if you don't need to make a change, then give thanks. Be grateful for what you do have, no matter how much or how little it may be. Quick story. There was World War II, prisoner of war in Germany. Soldier had gotten captured. American, I believe he was American, I'm not 100% sure, but a soldier was captured. And the conditions that he was in were just absolutely horrific. But he did his best every day to find some bit of beauty everywhere. And the fish head soup they would give him, he would look at the beautiful colors on the fish. He would marvel at the marvelous sunsets, the wonderful dawns, the beauty of the snow falling. OMG. That's how he survived. And he was eventually freed when the Americans or the Russians came and tore down the camps. So he was focused on what beauty in the world he could find here and now. Wasn't worried about what had happened, the losses that he had, his family, his life. And he wasn't worried about the future, or lack of. He was only concerned about just getting through this very moment, right here, right now. Trust your family. Enjoy your family if you can. I know it's not always easy. I know it's not even always possible. But if you have friends, if you have family, acquaintances, an animal, enjoy them here and now. Trust yourself, look deep into your heart, and find that speck of love that's there. Fan it gently to flame, so that it fills your heart, your body, your soul, your very being. I hope this finds everyone happy, healthy, well, and safe. God bless you all. Namaste, as they say. Enjoy. Thank you for watching.